Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Truth Serum. My name is Melissa Binkley and I am your host. And today we're going to share with you your daily dose of truth, debunking BS realities and illusions that we have subscribed to. My mission is to show you how to transform your life and business by bridging science and spirituality and debunking the current belief systems that have us all trapped, so that we can learn to walk the path of surrender and grace instead of fear and control. It is time to raise social, sustainable, conscious awareness and spirituality and create a conscious revolution. We need more leaders like you, healers, creatives, artists, light workers, highly sensitive coaches, and speakers to really live their purpose, tap into intuitive intelligence, and create global impact with their mission. Through connecting with amazing leaders like the one I have today, we'll reach 1 billion and create a shift in the world, creating love leaders. Today, we welcome love leader, Mira Zaki. Hi, welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Mira is a Seattle-born, Manhattan-based, globally traveling photographer. Can't wait to talk about this. Soon to be author and all the time psychic, intuitive empath. When her dreams started coming true at age 8, she simultaneously picked up a camera for the first time and found her easiest, most true expression. The combination of her spiritual abilities and having a camera to tell a story with led to a healing for the people in front of her camera. Her mission is to help heal and empower through her camera, to share your true divine essence, and to share the beauty of the world around us. Her degree in commercial advertising photography from Brooks Institute of Photography helped her to perfect her unique abilities as a photographer into an artist who brings expertise and professionalism and her intuitive magic. She's got all my good words, intuitive. All of her work. In the past year, Mira has been dedicated to her mission of empowering women through her photo shoots and to share the way she sees people in their higher selves, remarkable humans with no need for Photoshop. I think I know where we're going today. She will continue this mission to help untangle the old narrative and myth of unachievable perfection, that who we are is not acceptable by society. Wow. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. You speak so well. That was like such a beautiful introduction.
Thank you. Well, that's my gift. It's the voice.
Yes.
So I am really excited to talk to you today, Mira. We have been in the same groups for a while. We got to have an amazing lunch together, very recently visited California. And I want you to share with the audience, what is your shot of truth serum? What BS reality do you want to debunk or demystify?
I really want to demystify, photography versus Photoshop, because Photoshop is one gigantic lie that is really paralyzing a lot of women to this day, to myself, even very recently. I'll take a look at something. I have a bachelor's degree in photography. I still will look at something and go, oh, wait, nope, that's not the truth. That's not reality. So there's a lot of old stories here. There's a lot of untangling that we need to do around image, about body image and perfection and what is actually real.
So today on Truth Serum, we're going to be talking about the truth of photography. It's not what you think it is. When you're looking at magazines, when you're looking at newspapers, when you're seeing things on TV and you think that that's real and that's reality, well, guess what? It's BS. And today we're going to talk about that. So I want to know, Mira, how did you come to this truth in your life? Tell me about your story or your masterpiece, the lesson or trial that really got you into understanding this truth for yourself and for your mission in the world.
They always say that you learn what you have to teach. So my own spiritual path involved a lot of examination and a lot of introspection about myself, my beliefs, my truth. And developing that is how I am now able to stand here and so firmly, say, guess what? That's bullshit. This is incorrect. This is not accurate. And a lot of that came from having just a lot of health issues, learning how to even listen to my own body and listen to my own rhythm and understand that I am not a magazine. I'm a human being that's unique. And I have my own way of functioning and my own needs. Like I was a vegetarian for about 8 years, and I wasn't listening to my body. It wasn't helpful for me. So having gone through several health challenges and just expanding as a person and doing personal development work, I started to really figure out what did I actually believe without outside influence. And that's really a challenge. You really have to, haven't been there yet, but I think you really kind of have to go to India as you did, and like get away from all of that noise and all of the input, and to get really quiet within yourself to figure out what you actually really believe, what the truth is for you.
Yeah. And, talking about the BS of photography and Photoshop and finding your truth in that, kind of my path was that same way, in finding out how much BS there was in the world of photography and Photoshop and things, because I was a fitness and figure competitor. I had major body image issues. I had eating disorders. I had all of that. And when I was looking at, and so this is what I found out from being in fitness and figure competing, was I would look at these magazines, Shape Magazine and Fitness and Oxygen. I would see these beautiful women on the front, and I would be like, oh God, I want to be like that. I want to have that body. And I spent years after I got out of the eating disorder. I spent years on the other end, exercising 40 hours a week, got my body to a place where I looked like that, and then realized how sick I actually was, and the whole industry, how sick everyone was. And then finding out on top of that not only was I that perfect, according to that, standing on stage, they were still photoshopping the freaking pictures that they're putting in the magazines on top of it, and doing this, throughout. And it's an unachievable experience. And I actually got back into having an eating disorder again while competing, because I had such a bad, this experience of one, and it was all because of this idea of perfectionism that is being portrayed to everybody from through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, 8 years old. 10-year-olds want to be on diets now, right? Exactly. And I think the photography and the Photoshop is a big part of that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It's so debilitating on every possible level, not just on a lifestyle level, but you feel like you're not even human, and for women, it's like we feel like we need to be invisible in order to be heard, which is ridiculous. Yeah. So it's like the quieter and the smaller I can get, the more that people will listen to me. And it's just absurd.
Yeah, absolutely. So, getting into this, in talking about how you came to your truth and really started experiencing that. You're a photographer, and I know this feeds into your mission in life. So I would love for you to share with everyone. I know I gave a great introduction, but really share with them about how this idea behind Photoshop feeds into your mission in life and what you're doing in the world with your photography, because to me it's fascinating, and I love your take on photography and what you're doing that not a lot of people out there are doing at all.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's really common to become a brand, right? So as entrepreneurs, it's really common to have like a photo with your laptop to express entrepreneurship, and maybe you're in a beautiful location. And I find that just extremely limiting, because we're fascinating as human beings. We have so many experiences and so much richness in our lives to share. So there's kind of this weird thing happening where it's a bit of a trend to have these really gorgeous destination photos that aren't really your personal brand. Mm-hmm. So my approach has always kind of been unique. It's just on my personality. But all of the intuition and all of the psychic information comes through whenever I meet someone. I can read their energy. I can feel, things that are present with them. And I incorporate that into my photography. I didn't actually have a way of articulating that before, but that's why my work is stand out, and it's really colorful and emotional and unique, because it's a story. I've been a storyteller my whole life, but without saying a word. Mm-hmm. So that's really how those two things kind of overlapped. And to be able to share who we are as people, because I believe that our businesses, our brands are really ourselves, not necessarily exactly what we do. That should be included, absolutely. But it's really it's lovely to be able to capture someone's higher self or to show them what I see. And I always kind of joke, but thank goodness there's cameras, because I can't draw. I can't be like, this is how I see you. So I'm
Yeah.
really grateful that there's this medium for me to be able to share how I see things. That's just how I experience the world and how I experience people. And I just want to share that with them. I want to share their divinity with them, because it's incredible. It's
I
really
love the
remarkable.
fact that you're saying connecting, you're taking pictures of their higher self, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That's where I find it's the uniqueness of what you're doing. There's a couple of things that I find unique, but one of it is that you're literally bringing out their divine, that divinity, that higher
Yeah.
self in the pictures and having that experience. And then something else that you do that I find to be incredible and fascinating, so after all of my years of the trauma of watching the Photoshop and the photography and everything, when I did my first conference in 2014, I had all of these nude pictures done, and
Mm.
with this photographer before I knew you. And what I told her is I said, do not Photoshop a single picture. And she says, you don't want them Photoshopped. I said, absolutely not. Do not Photoshop them, because I want people to see what real beauty is in the body, just the way that it looks. And I used those pictures and they were artistic nudes, and through all of my marketing. And at the event, it was called the Pure Body Love Conference. It was my first annual event. And there was a power in not having that Photoshop. And that's something that you do also. You're the first photographer that I've met that stands in this space. Like, so you're taking pictures of the higher self, and then you're not Photoshopping this shit. Like, you're like, you're giving the body what it is. I mean, we're not talking like a blemish, okay, but I'm talking about like, fixing or changing people's bodies, or, taking things out. You don't do that. So let's talk about that a little bit, because for me, I find that so powerful.
Thank you. I just really don't have to. It's my way of working, but it's also that there are technical things that you can do with your lighting that are complementary. It's not shifting in the way that Photoshop is, but there's very legitimate, like, geometry. There's symmetry to some people's faces. There are things that are more pleasing, and that's where my education comes in. So I studied for 3 years learning the technical part of photography for the lighting and the angles and the things that are pleasing, and then the combination of my intuition and my, like, very empathetic humanity of, like, let's grab that, let's capitalize on that moment, let's like laugh, and let's take that moment, because that's so real, and that doesn't need any bullshit Photoshop. Pardon if I'm not supposed to curse.
Oh, girl, this is my podcast. There's lots of cursing going on.
Yeah. So I think that there's something really beautiful in, it's healing for people. I have people who they cry when they get to set, or when they've had all of my crew around them bringing out the best of them. Some people choose makeup, some people don't. That's a very personal decision. I support whatever is, feels good to you, because for some people, they love luxury. I'm one of those people. They love textures, and they love that feeling of, like, here's your own magazine shoot, but in a really honest way, and in a celebratory, transformative, healing way. So it's really just my training. Like, I've been studying photography my entire life. Like, I was just talking about it to a friend yesterday. Since I was in 6th grade, I learned Photoshop before there was no Photoshop, but we used to cut
We're
with
not
an
going to ask
X-Acto
for
knife.
an age any of us here, but
That's okay.
she's been doing this for a while, just to say.
Yeah, but I was like the teacher's assistant in high school. I learned on film, which also is a very humbling lesson, because it's very expensive when you mess up. So learning on film and having to actually understand lighting and
Yeah.
composition and technique was an incredible foundation for me to then take that knowledge, add my creativity, and put them together. So
Wow, amazing.
it's
So I didn't even know that. So, I don't know a lot about photography or how it works, although it's funny, my daughter's a photographer and my girlfriend's a photographer. So I have all these photographers in my life, and I know nothing about it. My daughter was actually on the phone. The two of them were talking the other night. And she's like, Mom, you're the worst photographer in the world. She's like, I can remember you always cut off my head. And there's like,
That's my mom too.
the law of thirds or something, or the thirds. And I'm like, why didn't you teach me that?
Rule of thirds.
She's like, Mom, I was just trying to keep you from cutting my head off in a picture. So I don't understand, a lot about the photography. So I didn't even know that there's a way that you could use lighting to do that kind of stuff. So then why do you think the media and the industry and everybody out there, what's the deal with the Photoshop then? Why are they all using it, and what's happening?
I think it's an old story, and it's a standard. We don't like things that are different. So since it's sort of just an agreement, it's like we've all agreed upon money, right? So they've all agreed upon editorial standards for covers. You might not find the same intensity of Photoshop in the magazine, but the cover will always, get you and really hit at your very emotional pain points. Look, it's advertising. They're trying to sell something.
Yeah. And they're trying to sell something that's not real, right?
Exactly.
They're trying to sell it was fascinating. I read an article one time, and they went to like 10 different countries around the world, and they had a photographer and a sketch artist, pick the ideal woman from their society. And
yes, I saw that.
It was a wide range of body types and styles, from some with big boobs to some with big butts to like tiny little skinny to short. It was amazing. And then when I saw that diversity over all of that, I was in awe of, so the people in those countries are photoshopping stuff to look more like it. So if I'm a stick figure and I want to go model in Colombia, where they want big butts, so they're putting me on the front of the magazine and adding a little butt to me, right? Or you take the same person and send them to Japan, and they want flat, they're getting small. It was incredible to me to see that, with Photoshop and photography, things we're leading into selling a certain type of image in society. And and so for me, the part of the the spiritual truth of this, and like walking in surrender, is how do we finally come to a place where we can have an experience where everything is acceptable and all is beautiful, right? Like instead of it being this certain thing in each of these societies, is when will we start putting people on the magazine covers, or owning up to the absolute diverse beauty that really surrounds us? Because I think we are trying to homogenize everything and bring this BS to everywhere.
I think it's just a matter of exposure. We've seen the same thing for majority of us for a lifetime. Yeah. And it's not really been challenged until, in my opinion, just the past couple of years, where we've got Dove doing these real women campaigns, and we've got Target for the first time is not photoshopping their bathing suit ads. And I think the more that we see it, the more that it becomes familiar, and it won't be so separate and other. So now I kind of actually have the opposite effect now. When I saw Ashley Graham on Sports Illustrated, I thought, she looks gorgeous. And then you looked at her, they did this lineup with a lot of other women, and I'm like, the other women look very unhealthy, no judgment, but just that she looked the most you know what I mean? Like, she looked the most normal to me, and I don't even like that word. Yeah. But it was just like, oh yeah, like, that's a human being. She's not this, kind of shadow of an idea of what we're supposed to look like. Yeah. Or what we're striving to, what we think we're supposed to look like.
Well, and it's so unhealthy anyways. Like, even with Photoshop for those women to get to that space, like the amount of water drop that they do in the dieting. And so I know I did it for years. Yeah. And you're walking around, and when I would walk around in regular society, I mean, I was so like thin looking, like, but when you put me in a magazine, it looked like what everybody wanted you to look like, but it really wasn't reality at all. Yeah. For what the experience was. And so it's such a dichotomy and such a different experience of that. Yeah. So one of the things that I love about you, Mira, is that you're an intuitive, you're an empath, like, you're deeply connected. And I know that you use photography to really transform your clients' lives. So what is your definition of spirituality?
Well, I've always loved the metaphysical. I've always kind of been fascinated with, that sort of subject. And I've been studying it since I was 8 years old, and I was trying to make sense of what was happening for me. I think spirituality is really kind of understanding and knowing that we're divine beings
Mhm.
and that we are creating our reality. And there is a very legitimate, now backed by science, mind, body, spirit connection.
Ah,
Um,
yep. Yes,
I
there.
didn't need science, but it helps. It helps for other
Yeah, it
people.
helps everybody else. It helps all the non-believers out there that are listening to Truth Serum because they need a shot of reality that aren't quite there yet. You
Yeah.
know, that there is a definite connection, and you know, that's why I talk about bridging science and spirituality, because there's so many people that are on one side of the fence or the other, and when we can start to show and bring those things together and see how everything is exactly perfect the way that it is, and that we've got this connection is really, really powerful. Um, so, you know, I found for myself that as I dove deeper into spirituality and really the truth of the world, and started to see things when I started breaking down the realities that I was doing, and transforming my life, you know, that I kept coming to all these different things and these different things that worked for me. And when I talk to other people, you know, what is when a ritual or a practice or a thing, there's something that you can't live without, like the 5-minute solution for somebody that's trying to transform their lives and they think they have to do everything, they get overwhelmed, and they need a complete overhaul. I believe we have like small little steps, right? So
Yeah.
what's your suggestion for that first small little step for our audience, for somebody that's really trying to take that first step?
So I have a shower playlist. I love to sing, but I'm not a trained singer or a musician. Singing is so healing, and so is music. It's very transformative. It's really, really beautiful medicine. So I'll sing in the shower. Whilst water is also very healing, it's the most receptive of all the elements. So kind of like expression with that combination of water is very powerful for me. It can change my whole day.
Wow.
Sing
I
in the
love to sing in
shower.
the shower. I'm a canary, but you just do it because I never
Yeah.
really thought of it in that kind of aspect of, you know,
Yeah.
as a healing kind of ritual. So how often do
Totally.
you sing in the shower?
I try to do every day. I don't always remember. And also I need to update my playlist because I specifically chose things that involve like, extending notes and things that really get the vibration going,
Yeah.
or songs that I just like can't not sing.
Yeah.
I try every day. I don't, but I sang outside of the shower today.
I sing, so I'm the same way. I was actually, my girlfriend and I were driving up to the Sierra Nevada, and on the way back, I'm singing my heart out. So like, and I'm singing the wrong words and
It's
everything.
so
She just looks at me, she
powerful.
starts dying laughing. She's like, you have so much joy for the world that you just sing. And I said, yeah, that's what it is for me. Singing is just joyful in this experience.
Exactly.
And so I'm doing it. I do it all the time. I dance in my living room and I sing, and
Totally.
every once in a while in the shower, but I think I'm going to do more shower stuff. Do
Yeah.
you have like one of those, like the bathroom radios that like it is in your shower, or
No, I wish. I just use my phone.
you use your phone? Oh yeah. Well, see me, I'd end up with the phone in the shower and then it would be
Yeah.
interesting. I'm always trying to overdo things. I'm like, oh, let me
Yeah.
do this.
I understand. It's a very legitimate. It's a vibration. I know that I personally respond very strongly to sound, to sound healing, to music, to the vibration of sound. So I
Yeah.
try to involve myself in that in whatever way possible, whether it means like going to find, singing bowl events or singing, or literally having the dance party. It shifts your vibration. It actually changes the frequency of your vibration. So.
Yeah. Awesome. So Mira, what's up next for you? What's exciting and new? What are you excited about in creating? I know that you're a big world, you love to travel, and you do this incredible photography, um, work with amazing entrepreneurs, and you're doing some really cool stuff. So share a little bit about where you're going and what's up next.
Yeah, lots of cool things are happening here. So I'm the kind of person that has like an idea every second. So I've just got like journals and journals and journals full of ideas, but to actually put them together and activate them can take some time. So I've got a bit of travel coming up, but I have 2 new projects I'm working on, which is really interesting to me. So one of them is a motherhood series. I want to help continue to empower women and to really talk about motherhood. And it apparently is my first film, but it's also going to have a photo shoot. So I'm doing my first film ever,
Oh,
which is really thrilling. I'd love to have you as part of it.
I can't believe you're going to film and stuff. Oh my God, that's so incredible. And I would love to be a part of it, of course.
Yeah, please. I think that's so interesting. I was just kind of thinking about, for whatever reason, I was just examining my own feelings about motherhood and my relationship with my mom and how we treat mothers and how much isolation there is and judgment.
Yeah.
And I just thought, we got to highlight this. This is the time to not only like have a viral, post, but this needs to become a conversation, because this is still, mothers are still women. And I don't know any other further isolation than being a mother. It's so, and I'm not a mother, but my conversations with mothers is like, oh my God, you don't understand how hard it is and how much judgment there is. And
because nobody's talking about it, right?
Exactly.
Like, you're trying to be pretending to be perfect or pretending to be in that place, or not, not trying to, there's not in the past, not the vulnerability to open up to. I had postpartum depression. I had this,
Exactly.
I have a crazy kid that's driving me fucking nuts, and it's okay to say that. Like,
the truth, exactly.
Truth, kind of stuff. The truth. We did an episode called "The Truth" about being a mother. So yeah, I'll actually like to connect you with.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
So I need as many mothers on earth as possible. I also think that it's important to talk to, kind of have two sides of things. While the focus is to empower and uplift mothers, but also people who can't have children or people who've chosen to not have children, there's an equal stigma for your life decisions regarding that. So so there will be an accompanying photo shoot, and I've already got so many wonderful people lined up, and I'm really, really excited about it. So and as a non-mother, I think it's an interesting perspective to share with people and be really honest that this is from me, who first was unable to have children and then decided not to have children.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's one project. I've also, in order to continue this support and changing the narratives, I have branding shoots this whole fall, which is really exciting. More women. And then also another project I have is a stock photo shoot. It will also be a very long ongoing series of real people, and to kind of like infuse some more reality and more diversity into stock photography. Just even my own searches, like if you look for concepts like abundance or something, there's just really cheesy, weird, terrible things available.
I'm in for the stock photography. Let me know.
Yes, please.
For our websites and stuff. Like, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm so glad you're doing that. That's another place where when you're building as an entrepreneur, building business, you don't have certain things for, like, I do, blog posts all the time and different things like that. And we're always looking for stuff. And we're like,
and then everyone ends up using the same thing because it's free. So they're going to be available for purchase, like ongoing. I'm not going to wait until I'm finished, because this may be a lifelong project. I think that it's really important to have a more accurate representation. And even though my background is advertising, it's just not the truth. Like, people want to see they want to feel something. They want to see something real or interesting or compelling. So that's what's happening.
Fantastic. I love it. Okay. So I have two more questions for you, but before I do, I want you to tell everybody how they find you, how they connect with you, so they can get to your awesome photography or get photographed by you and all of that.
Yeah, if you're coming through Melissa, like say Truth Serum or something, so I know who you are and where you're coming from. So everything is my name. It's Mirazaki, M-I-R-A-Z like zebra, AKI.com. All of my handles are at Mirazaki Photo, Photo. So if we aren't connected, or there's weird Facebook, walls, just find Melissa and then you can find me.
Awesome. So everybody, I want you to go check out mirazaki.com, mirazaki.com, and really connect with her. She's incredible. I'm telling you, she's doing some amazing work in the world. And so now on to our last two questions.
I'm excited.
The first one is, if you could do one thing in this world before you pass to the next realm, whether it could be mission related, it can be business related, it can be adventure related, but what's something that you have to do before you leave? What's on your bliss list?
You know, it's funny because the literal first thing that comes to mind is the reason why I'm a photographer. I want a picture as impactful on the cover of National Geographic as the Afghan girl, because that's the whole reason I'm a photographer. So that's my life dream.
Awesome. Wow. And that is such an
I
impactful.
just gotta chill.
Me too. I got tears in my eyes. Okay. So, Mira,
Great question.
yeah, a really great answer. So you're 110 years old. You're on your deathbed. And unfortunately, none of your family or friends or anybody who could be there with you. The only person that could be there is one person, a reporter. So he comes and he stands beside your deathbed, and he asks you, he says, he's going to write your epilogue and he's going to write your obituary. He's going to really get your word out to the world. He says, if you had one truth that you could leave for all of your friends, family, and humanity to know, what would you say?
Do what you love.
Do what you love. Hell yeah, do what you love. Thank you, Mira, so much for joining us today for Truth Serum. You are a shot of truth. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
See you all in the next episode of Truth Serum. Bye.